Some say childbirth is the hardest woman's life. After enduring the excruciating pain, I was in euphoria to finally meet my child. But a stupid man trampled on everything.
If you can't even take care of yourself, I'm done with you.
My husband, Jason, threw a divorce paper at me. Unforgivable. The flame of revenge surged through me. My name is Heather. I got married 4 years ago and had been a housewife. We had hoped to have children as Sock were married. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to connect after a while. When I realized it, I was already 25 years old. I was getting impatient, seeing women around me having babies. My friends who had babies showed me calculate my ovulation and recommended Chinese herbal meds boost my fertility. I tried everything, but nothing was successful. After 3 years of trying, I suggested to Jason that we go for in vitro fertilization treatment, but he refused. His reason was it was too much of a...
Many women get pregnant without medical help, don't they? Have you been putting in enough effort?
He was completely unaware of concept. It wasn't just up to me, but his F necessary too. I had tried to make him understand he wasn't interested.
You're overreacting. It's a waste of money to go for the treatment.
He insisted it wasn't worth spending to conceive. I fell in love with him for being a caring person, but I wondered if it was all a delusion. A minor hiccup slowly turned into D. Before we were married, he wanted to have kids, and he was eager to share in the household duties and bring up their children. I assume he was also feeling the peer and stress. We were having more arguments over infertility issues, and maybe I was being a little too, As I reflected, I tried to be more affectionate and caring towards him.
Thank you for taking the trash out.
However, I couldn't help but notice we're becoming more distant.
Are you not knocked up yet? You are already 30, aren't you? Isn't it getting too late? Why can't you get pregnant? A woman comes of age once she bears right.
The heartless words of Jason stubbed time. My only ally was his mother, Maggie.
Don't say such terrible things about him. It's not fair.
She lived nearby and was a very kind mother-in-law who brings delicious food that she shares with us every weekend. She scolded Jason for his nasty words. My mother was always there to defend me, no matter what.
I, too, couldn't get pregnant My mother-in-law used to make this cake all the time, and I loved it. It was really hurtful to hear of your own anguish.
My parents had passed away already, so I trusted her like my own mother.
You can talk to me about anything.
I was thankful for her kindness. She lost her husband early and raised alone. The words of a strong woman were most reassuring. How can such an insensitive man like the son of this sweet woman? I couldn't help but wonder. At such a time, I became pregnant, our long-awaited first child after our marriage. No way, really. Happiness trembled within me as I held the test kit.
Congratulations. I'm so happy for you.
Shared the joyous news with Maggie.
Thank you so much for all your sup, Maggie.
Nonsense. I'll always be here if you need me. Don't forget that.
I wanted to surprise Jason and make him feel better. I looked forward to him coming back day.
Oh, finally.
I felt a sting of pain at his nonchalant reaction.
It's our long-awaited baby. Aren't you excited?
For what? There's nothing to be X about. It's such a normal thing.
Wow.
I expected him to be overjoyed, so I couldn't hide my surprise at his unexpected reaction.
Normal couple would had 2 kids. It's just that you are an anomaly.
Why was he making fun of me compared to others? My dim hope of reconciling our relationship through this pregnancy had disappeared into thin air. I didn't mean to cry, but tears welled up in my eyes. I had to become stronger because I was going to be a mother. I promised myself. My pregnancy was difficult to say. My morning sickness was so awful that I worried about whether I could carry a full term. Not only morning sickness, but I had desperately with other occasional because I couldn't take over the counter drugs. Even at such times, Jason didn't care, but looked at me coldly.
Where's my dinner?
Sorry, I'm feeling too bad that I prepare. Can you make it yourself?
What's up with that?
But I'm feeling terrible. Why can help out?
Whatever. I'm going to eat out.
He was petulant and left the house. Maybe, just maybe, I had a fault too. But his inconsiderate attitude towards a sick wife was very upsetting. Whose baby did he think I was carrying? I thought it was better to keep calm and had a talk once he was back. When he returned after 1 hour, something.
I went for a checkup today. Our baby is getting bigger, you see.
I hoped that an ultrasound image would help him realize the fatherhood and would have started me better. But his reaction again was like, he wasn't even interested.
It's your baby. Have a good look.
Just an image.
Can nothing work on him anymore? A feeling of resignation was slowly to grow inside me. I couldn't make him get more involved pregnancy. So I consulted with Maggie. She was astounded to hear about them. She never imagined that her own son was mistreating his wife.
I apologize on behalf of him. He's terrible.
Please, you don't need to.
It wasn't my intention to complain, needed someone to vent to.
Can I come over sometime? If I see him acting oddly, I would assume he hasn't really gotten a chance to show what he can do. He should come around if I speak to.
Of course. Please do.
I readily accepted her suggestion. It was important for the baby to be happy parents. So I wanted to fix our relationship. However, my expectations were crushed once I arrived at the airport.
What are you doing here, Mom?
I'm helping Heather, of course. It's a huge job to carry a baby to...
Jason's aloofness was unstirred by Mother.
I heard what's been going on. You terrible. You need to grow up for your future. Don't rely on Heather too much.
It seemed that absolutely nothing cc his brain.
Why do I need to be preached by you? Is birthing a child so laudable? Heather's been using her pregnancy as an excuse and slacking on housework. She stays at home and brings no money, but she was going to waste it on fertility treatments. I don't get it at all.
I was appalled to find out what he was thinking.
I'm not just slacking. I've been feeling too sick to even daily things.
Aren't you a housewife? Maintaining good health is part of too.
Like it was that easy, as you say. You know, it doesn't work like that.
Blah, blah, blah. You always have I'm done here.
Me too.
I knew it wasn't good, for the baby couldn't help raising my voice. He went too far.
Calm down. Let's talk it out like...
Maggie intervened, but there was not. Jason and I started the Cold War from scratch. Maggie tried to mediate between him, but all her efforts ended up in vain. That was all because he refused to. He started coming back home late and stayed out almost all day on weekends. We were no longer husband and wife. Nevertheless, I desperately clung to our marriage for the baby. To welcome the baby into the world, endure any hardship. I focused on childbirth first and 2 of my life from then on. No stress, moderate exercise, and a well-balanced diet. And then came the day of delivery. The labor was very long, but my healthy daughter was born. It was an absolutely unforgettable moment holding my child for the first time. I was overcome with love and gratitude for her.
Great job, Heather. Congratulations.
Maggie, who had been with me through labor, was crying.
By the way, Jason,
There was no sign of him anywhere.
I couldn't reach him, so I left a message. I'm so sorry for his foolishness.
My heart ached for her sorrowful ex. Was it too much to ask for him to be celebrating the birth of our first child? As I was thinking, the door of my room was shoved roughly open.
honey,
Jason had arrived.
Here, take it.
He handed me something as soon as he...
You know, you've been slacking off. Using excuses of morning sickness are not valid reasons to miss work. Such an irresponsible housewife. Just because you delivered the baby doesn't mean it goes to your head. If you still act the same, I'm going to divorce you. I'll consider it if you agree to the rules.
He was waving the divorce papers as down at me. Maggie was the one to stand up to him.
Jason, where have you been during the delivery?
He ignored her and pressed me to answer.
So what are you going to do about it? Are you gonna change for the better?
your daughter is just born. Don't you have anything else to say?
See, you are spiteful. I'm giving you a chance to change.
I was supposed to be out of hospital the day after tomorrow, but I couldn't think of raising my daughter with him. I asked myself what to do. The answer came easily. I do not need such a loathsome husband.
Okay, let me think about it. I'll keep the papers with me.
I grabbed them and put them in a safe place. These papers were going to help me stand on my own feet. I was even thankful to Jason for Con with the idea first. Then he left without a word. Jason's action made Maggie weep hard.
Such a monster is really my son. I don't even know how to apologize, Heather.
Don't worry, Maggie. Now I want to ask you for a favor.
I told her about my plan, that I had been warming up in my head for a while, and asked for her help. On the day of my discharge, I left the hospital earlier than planned. I held my beloved daughter and took a taxi to a certain place where they would live for the time being. When we arrived, Maggie was already us.
How are you, Heather? Come inside.
Thank you. But is it really okay?
Of course, it has been empty for a while. I've had it cleaned out so you can write in.
Our new home was the house of Maggie's parents. She arranged a mover on the next day, mentioned divorce, and had my things packed up and ready to go. I was beyond grateful to her.
Now, what are you going to do about the divorce?
Of course I will. We don't need that awful man in our lives.
I agree. You can make it without him. I will support you in whatever decision you make.
But we will no longer be related. Are you okay with that?
Never mind. I always think of you, daughter, anyway. No difference from now on.
Her kindness warmed my heart.
I always think of you as my own boy. I wish to keep our new friendship forever. I hope we can continue to be friends for a long time.
We smiled and hugged each other tightly.
The three of us will get along just fine.
Since then, Maggie and I deepened our friendship. The night I was discharged, Jason K.
Hey, where have you gone?
None of your business.
The nurse told me you were all ready. I came by. Weren't you supposed to be out in the afternoon? And your things are all gone from that place. What did you do with the divorce pay?
It was the right idea to leave Earl. If we had bumped into each other, it wouldn't have worked out.
Of course, I've signed and left the lawyer.
What? Why did you do that?
What do you mean? You brought them.
I just wanted you to change your email address. Besides, how could we divorce now that we have a child? You are such a fool.
What? Who do you think you are? You are the fool who doesn't care about children. Suggests divorcing in the first place.
Don't regret it.
Whatever you say. We are strangers, but I'll demand proper child support. It is our daughter's right.
My lawyer was supposed to contact H details later. Jason didn't really think that I was divorce him, but I didn't care.
Have a nice life.
I hung up on him and ran to my beautiful daughter. I had to be strong for her. I couldn't be intimidated by something like this. Afterward, I sent him my child support request through my lawyer. As for the division of property, I hire Maggie's attorney. I was really grateful to have a strong support system. Jason had finally grasped the reality of the call from my lawyer, and he sounded more and more feeble over the phone.
Babe, I think I've done something terrible to you. I'm really sorry.
So what?
So what do you think about this?
Right.
I could not just forget and forgive the calamity on the day of my child, deeply rooted in my brain. It was hideous to know that the guy who looked down on me and made fun of me, now I'm such a wimp. Then he started justifying himself.
I was really happy when you got pregnant, but I was also anxious, so I took it. You should have been sweeter and more to me. If you thought of me before anyone.
Here he was, still blaming me. I was up to the roof. I blurted out frustration at him.
How old are you? You sound like you misunderstand a mother. What an immature baby. You wanted to be taken care of. That's exactly what I wanted from you. When I was stressed about not getting pregnant, during my pregnancy, I was nauseous and sick all day long. But there was always a hint of sweetness in the air. You only care about yourself. You better end your life alone, and I'm serious. Don't ever get in touch with us. I get chills just hearing your voice.
I hang up the phone. I finally hurled out all the frustrations and resentments. I felt so much better than I expected.
Are you feeling okay?
Yes, so much lighter.
We gave a high five to each other. We had become like real mothers and daughters. After that, Jason became a center one at work. People were curious about the divorce right after childbirth, which sounded more like a soap opera. He was too lonely living alone. So he went out binge drinking with colleagues. Out of his drunkenness, he explained details of our divorce, which backfired and isolated him from others. He felt too uncomfortable in the of suddenly resigned. The fact that he told people exactly what he was doing and how he was going to do it is a testament to his bravery. Proved that he was not sorry at all. Instead of being sympathized by his colleagues, he was appalled. The child support was deposited ever, but who knew how long it would continue?
Don't worry, I'll let you know if there's anything odd about him. My relatives and I have been watching the news about the recent earthquake in Nepal.
Maggie was the one who told me about his resignation and the reason why. I'm currently living with my daughter, Maggie. It's an unusual combination, but a grandmother's love for her granddaughters is a big part of her life.
Do you want to marry again?
No way. I've had enough of marriage.
I laugh awkwardly, holding my daughter's hand.
Don't say that. Even though you're a single mother to enjoy your own life, you're still young.
I never imagined such words from the mouth of my ex-husband.
Hey, she's smiling. Katie is smiling. I bet she's saying, hang in there.
Her endless kindness touches my here tear up. Have I ever been this sentimental? I will always do my best to make my happy, and I will be happy myself. I promise to my smiling daughter